Na hii kitu ni mbaya sana. Ati na hii inakuwa shida ya millennials. Unajua corruption is the order of the day. That's a lie. That's one of hiyo kufanya gava ikae ni kama it's all too mighty, all too powerful. Do you know who is the least powerful person kwa hii katiba? The president. He is the most powerless actually. Yeye ndio akona the least power kwa kila mtu, hata MCA akona power kushinda president. That is the major difference between this constitution and the other constitution.
Yo, unaongelea president mgani?
No. I'm telling you. No, I'm telling you the truth.
According to the constitution.
The reason why Wakenya walitaka new constitution is because Kenyatta na mabeste yake walikaa tu chini pale State House 1964. Unajua tulipewa very proper constitution na wazungu. Hawa kakaa naye 2 years wakaona na hii mambo ya kusema ati chama nyingi ilitoka wapi?
Chama ni moja, chama ya mama na baba.
Watu waliharibu hii katiba 1965 to 1969. Wewe unajua Charles Njonjo alikuwa anaweza kudetain akiwa kwa nyumba yake. Amekaa tu hivyo manzema ule Obina nimeona anaongea hapo sana. Ako under house arrest. Bro, president alikuwa anavuta minister kazi mahali popote vile anataka. So the main difference between the independence constitution and this constitution is power zote zenye president alikuwa nayo alinyang'anywa. President alikuwa anapeaga wasee shamba. Kenyatta anafika tu like Obina, nika unaweza lima we
unaweza penda hectare,
anakuza like unaweza lima ngapi? 50. Naambia anakuambia na mimi nilikuwa najua unaweza lima 250.
Ungependa sana.
Na akikasirika anakunyang'anya. Unajua Koigiwa Mwere alipewa shamba la Moi, alafu akaenda akufanya kitu Moi alitaka, akamnyang'anya shamba by jioni.
Unapewa shamba asubuhi na unanyang'anya jioni.
Yes. Koigiwa Mwere, bring Koigiwa Mwere hiyo story. So the main difference between hii katiba na ile ingine ni ati the president was the law. Tunasemaga president anaendaga how many terms maximum? 2, si ndio?
Yeah.
Each of 5 years, ndio? Unajua ni Moi aliamua hiyo. Hiyo sio sheria iliamua. So we must respect people like James Orengo. We must respect people like Raila Amolo Odinga. We must respect people like Gitobwe Manyara. We must respect people wenye walienda wakaambia Kenneth Matibo walienda akaambia Moi ni aje history yako hii ati sijui nini mbaya. Ndio 1992 waka repeal section 2A. Ndio unajua ni gava ilikuwa imeharibu. Like kurepeal ina maana yani to take it back to what it was. So ndio Kenya ikakuwa multi party state again 1992. Yes. Na ni Moi alikuja akadeclare akasema sasa kuanzia leo sasa Ruto hawezi fanya hivyo. Ndio maana ana jump when you hear the Goldenberg scandal, because lazima tujue sapo tunajua history ya nchi.
No, mimi najua tu akina Patni walikuwa huko.
Walifanya nini exactly like?
Waliiba gold.
No, hawakuiba. That's what people don't know. Hawakuiba gold.
Goldenberg si bag ya gold.
Goldenberg ni company. Nito Goldenberg International. The same way nito Obina Show Live. It's a company, right?
Yeah.
The same way Goldenberg International was a company.
Okay.
Which apparently ilikuwa ina deal na diamond na gold zenye zina export. So a 26-year-old Asian Indian guy comes and tells the president that you know ni Buddha mimi niko na magold uski. Niko na magoro na madaya.
Onambia Moi. So that's Patni.
Na nataka tu export. So unadai na need export subsidies. So waliibaje do ya gava. Unajua watu wajuangi umzee aliibaje. Okay, hawa sasa walifanyaje?
Okay.
Wakipewa hizo subsidy wali inflate the price ya gold, like waliweka like it were more than it was supposed to be. Guest bank ilikuwa inafanya hiyo transaction, ilikuwa inaitwa Exchange Bank. So Upatni ndio the owner of Goldenberg International na ndio the owner of that bank. Bank yenye ili deal na hiyo transaction inaitwa Exchange Bank.
Okay.
Sasa wachana na hiyo hata imata. Let us look at how much money was lost from 600 million to 1.5 billion US dollars. Do you know how much money that was? So kila time ukisikiaga country imepoteza do, country ipotezangi do, na hiyo inafaa understand. Country ipotezangi do, country upoteza services. Like hiyo do ilikuwa kujenga mahospitali, sasa hakuna. Because ukuja kwa budget ni nini yoga?
Money allocated to do development.
No. Budget ni sheria kuhusu vile pesa itatumika. So na ukikuja kwa budgeting, money only follows function. Like huwezi fanya kitu, huwezi weka kitu kwa budget kama una pesa yake. So ukiwasikia ati mtu anasema tunajua ilikuwa tujenge hii barabara lakini hatukupata pesa, hiyo ni uongo, hiyo ni kinyume na sheria, hiyo ni iko kwa public finance. Enda usome uone vile inafaa happen.
So by the time they figure what to do,
before that budget passes,
there has to be
pesa iko ya kila kitu. So by the end of that financial year inaanzanga 1st of July inaisha 30th of June. Inamaanisha kila kitu yenye iliyoko kwa budget inafaa ikuwe imekuwa accomplished.
Okay.
So ukiona ati 200 billion, usiangalie do, angalia the function. Roads, hiyo 200 billion ikipotea hakuna roads. Mnapo 100 billion mnaambiwa ni loan mtalipa, alafu mnapokutoka 40 billion mnaambiwa hii hamtalipa. But the problem is sasa haikuji kwa consolidated fund. Yet the law inasema all revenue should go to the consolidated fund. By the way, ukitaka kusoma hii katiba uelewe, anza tu na article na chapter 12. Soma tu mazi. Hiyo itakustress, najua utashikwa na stress, ni sawa. So hiyo doi kamingi. What happens? Wale wase ufanya procurement outside our jurisdiction, like outside Kenya. So unasikia cement imetoka China, rangi imetoka China. Lakini tuko na sheria yenye nasema bei ya rangi ni ngapi, tuko na sheria inasema bei ya cement ni ngapi, but sometimes unapatanga we have dubious people there. They say, cement ya China si kama ya Kenya. I'm just giving an example. Cement ni 3,000. Uniaje unatuambia hapa cement ni 900. Kwani inajibeba? So that money does not come. Isipokuja nini na mino. Bina, remember I told you, don't look at money, look at function. Ni nini tuna miss do isipokam?
The services.
The services, right? It means kama barabara inafaa kujengwa, ni the Chinese companies zenye ziko contracted huko. Wengine watasupply cement, wengine watasupply chuma, wengine watasupply zote. So zinakuwa shipped. So watu wetu wenye wako na hardware wanauza cement, watauza wapi? Unasikianga saa msoto iko like, yes, mnaona vitu inafanyika, lakini actually this is the main difference ya economic growth na economic development. Economic growth inaweza happen bila wananchi wa hiyo country kuwa part of it. Like we have other people driving our economy, not us. So we ni engineer umesoma, but sasa ni engineer wa China ameletwa. So hiyo degree yako ina lose value, unaenda unakuwa mtu wa mjengo, kazi yako ni kubeba simiti. So hiyo do haikamingi, isipokam nini ina happen? The first loss tunakuwa nayo ni ati we lose money in terms of foreign exchange. Si zinakuja in dollars. Ikikuja in dollars ina multiply inakuwa nyingi, inakuwa kwa economy yetu. So haikam, it is the Chinese who are coming, it is the foreigners who are coming. So kitu yenye sisi tunafanya, tunatengenezea vijana wa China job. Like hao sasa wanasikia fit yuko like, kuna ka form. So ndio maana nilikuwa nakuambia like watu wa boda hawafai kufanya job ya boda. Hiyo boda wanafaa kuwa wanazidrive wakienda job, wanaziride wakienda job, ni means of transport. Sasa in this dispensation nafai kuwa means of transport. So hizo dozi kianza kukam Kenya, MPs wetu wakiweza toa hiyo Public Finance Management Act hiyo C na D, hiyo section 57 C and D. Now the money starts coming according to the constitution. So ikikuja sasa ndio huyu sasa tutaanza like sasa these are Kenyan unajua like sasa kuseme kama lawyer anafaa kuangalia hizo companies ita operate aje the contract. Ni the lawyers outside Kenya in major projects.
You know, economic liberation in South Africa is not a dream deferred. It is a promise broken. We were handed political freedom like it was a trophy, a performance, a distraction. But the real power, the economy, that stayed locked behind gilded gates, protected and untouched. You cannot tell a hungry generation that they are free. You cannot tell landless people that they are equal, and you definitely cannot preach unity when wealth still clings to the bloodline of the past. And unfortunately, this country does not need another dialogue, another panel, another policy written in soft ink. It needs a reckoning, because this system wasn't designed or built to include us. So why are we still begging to be let in? Economic liberation is not a debate. It is a final frontier of our freedom. And until that happens, we are least citizens in a rented democracy. If you want peace, deliver justice. If you want silence, deliver dignity. And if you want progress, start with the economy.
Hi, now everybody's a political analyst. Question: who is your duo or trio that can actually fix 60 to 80% of our problems? Silence the noise, wachana na comments, wachana na opinions. Ile wewe na vukura yako moja, if you're to be asked. Who is your duo or trio that can fix the issues we're experiencing as a country? We're not supporting some politicians because they hate the government. Not because we think or assume that they would make a better government than the one we currently have. Social media noise does not equate votes kwa ground. Do you have your duo or your trio that, according to you, can fix majority of the problems we currently have? Now, according to you, have you identified as a person? Silence the noise. Silence the noise. Achana na venye kila, because now everybody is speaking. Do you know the kind of problems we're experiencing as a country? And according to you, who is more likely, who has the capability, who has the potential to give Kenya back its glory?
And I think if you recall, when I was last here, we talked about a system we inherited at independent Kenya that was not ours. Remember, we didn't define ourselves as tribes. Somebody came and told us what tribe we belong to. Somebody even called us Nilots and Bantu. Somebody came here and put a system in 1897 with a company called Royal British East India Company. Went on in 1902 to call it Imperial British East Africa Company. And when Kenya became a colony, that company that came to extract and exploit our country and dominate us became the civil service, became the system. Okay, this is reality. How different is it today? It became the civil service. Their watchmen became the policemen. Today, when you go and talk to a policeman at a government office, okay, doesn't he treat you like a watchman? Munataka nini? You are the taxpayer. That is your public office. And he's asking you what you want, because the most important people are the ones who are inside there, not you. Right? That's no different to a watchman. Right? This is what happened. We have never changed this system. Okay? Because it has also worked for those who have so-called inherited power, gotten power. They perpetuated it because it has this thing of the wagogo. Right? But it exploits us. It extracts from us. How different is this government? The one thing William Ruto came in and he said, this is a time for the hustler and not the dynasty. This is a time that he is going to bring the people to the table, not the wagogo.
So Jimmy,
okay,
the real
and what happened? And what happened? Because it was in a sense a revolution of that order, right?
And people resonated with it.
And people believed it. They believed it. They believed it. 2 years down the line, I think let's be sincere. He's been unable to do it. We are cutting off what we believed was our chain. So when we had the clamor for democracy, for self-rule, independence, what was our chain? Colonialism. The white man ruling Kenya. Right? So we cut off that chain.
That's what we saw as a chain.
We saw as a chain. Right? The next part we said, you mean we removed the chain of the Mzungu to put our own dictator? Right?
Yeah.
We are not going to be a chain to a dictator who tells us how to breathe, how to walk, right? When we can even go to the toilet. No, we are cutting off that chain and we cut it. Then we thought along the way, hey, maybe this constitution that came in 1961, when people were still thinking about how to enslave us, is the problem. So we went and we cut that chain. Okay? 2010. And we actually produced a very good document. Really.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to even be altered even with one comma as far as I'm concerned. Now, so we can speak. We have political rights. We can go to the ballot. But our problem is still persisting. Our economic problem is still persisting. So what is our current chain? And that's what we've been discussing on this
Again,
show.
Jimmy, what we see as a chain, what they saw as a chain in the 60s, in the 50s into 60s, what we saw as a chain in the 80s into 90s, what we saw as a chain in the 2000s. Like you just told us, that was actually not the chain.
No, it was part of the chain, but not the entire chain.
Bas.
Now,
So now that we are saying that we are looking at this new chain, is this a big
it's not
chain?
a new chain. It is now the final chain.
How do we know this
It's
is
the
final
economic chain. And the economic chain comes with system. I told you about the system of a company that came here that became a government. That's a political system and an economic system that was embedded for three things: exploitation, extraction, and dominance. And that's what we're going to change. And two, what is our chain today? I've been on this show for the last 2 years talking about a chain of debt, which is extraction, the biggest extraction to our life. The biggest. Once we cut off that chain, I can assure you, and create a different political order that is not about a government that is extracting, exploiting, and dominating. I can assure you, you have freed the Kenyan to go and prosper. And this is where now ideological politics comes in. New plans come in. What is one group and what is another group? All right? What is Jimmy's ideology about a future? Am I a capitalist? Am I a socialist? Am I this? This is now where you start getting debate about ideology. All right? Political systems and economic systems. And this is where we are headed. This is the turning point. This is the turning point that defined all the great nations of the world, even America. Now, planned poverty goes this way. To rule the masses, you keep them down.
Subdue them.
Subdue them. Because the more they know, the more they are aware.
You are at risk.
Yes, because then what are you offering? The advantage was that you know more, so people respect you, right? And they adhere to you being in a position. Okay, they don't question you. So planned poverty goes like this, and this is a model the Mzungu instituted, and it has been there until even the Kibaki time. 60% of Kenyans are made to worry about food. Okay? They just want food. Their dreams and aspirations, and this is one thing that Kibaki really did, educate you. That's why he was so keen on free education. Is get your child into education. Get them educated.
So that
it is a free pass out of poverty.
You liberate them.
So you liberate them. Right? Or liberate the generations to come. Okay? But if you don't achieve it, that's another hand to come and bring food. You say, maybe in the future, their children. Right? 30% are called the middle class. Lower, middle, and upper middle class. Right? And they're inculcated to believe that you're a salary away from being in the 60%. You're a major sickness away from being in the 60%. Go and take a mortgage that keeps you there because you want a house and you want your child to go to private school. Right? You want a particular insurance for your health. Right?
Yeah.
So you are made dependent on income.
To those who believe politics doesn't affect them, I hope today has taught you how politics affect you directly.
Ruto simpigi kura.
Amenajisi inchi bila kutumia hata kondom.
This is Selector Dede.
Wanadhani ya bongo lala, ikikupita we bongo lala, na walosema jana iwezi fika leo, tuko gram tunasoja. Akijikuku mewaka sana, na mabisto wanachafua raga, na walosema jana iwezi fika leo, tuko gram tunasoza. Hakuna mboka, peleke shuleni watasoma, madaktari wamegoma, hapa sani Yesu atatuponya. Wambie punde imechoka sana, farasi bado ijapatikana, ni mandai wanagonya na mali wanaponda, unakonda wananona. Mandamano, 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 amise mandamano, 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 mandamano.
Jam down shuffle.